What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your boy Domuto. We watching another video, and today we're watching Call Me Arj, Ultra Vegeta's final hope to kill Zeno. Okay, I know y'all been waiting on this one, so we about to get into it, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and let go.
Our story continues with our three heroes, True Demon of Destruction Vegeta, Seraphim Goku, and Ultra Vegito, now on the battlefield together once more. And full of vigor now that the God Killer had finally returned in place of Lucifer. As ahead of them lays the ultimate angel, the Grand Priest.
Oh shit.
And with a cold, disconcerted look, as Cyan Lightning would dance
Cyan.
around, Dai would let out. How utterly pathetic. One more mortal rejoins the fray, and now suddenly you three think you have a chance again? This has truly become a joke. I'm afraid without Lucifer, this is hardly worth my time anymore.
Oh damn.
Give up and head to the demon realm where you belong. There you will be able to atone for your cardinal sins. But regardless of what the priest would say, Vegito would remain unbothered, turning to Goku and instead saying, "Never mind him. As usual, these gods will continue to underestimate us. I'll level with you. Dai is on a completely different level to all of the other challenges we faced. Like I said, I'll need you both to win this. For now, just focus on finishing the two guards. It should be pretty easy in that new form of yours. I can already sense that they haven't got any further to go."
Okay.
But just as Vegeta would begin to down-talk the threat of the two guards, a truly strange rise in energy would be sensed by the God Killer. As he mutters, "Wait a second. Speaking of those two slaves..." As he would then turn around, he would see both Z and S once again
Z
up
and
and
S.
ready, no longer affected by Goku's earlier smite. As having gotten closer to the trio, the brothers would mysteriously then stand side to side with their wings spread. And with both their seraphim eyes active on opposite sides, Z would say, "It is time, brother," while S would reply, "It is. Once we do this, there will be no return.
Oh shit.
Farewell, Z." And instantly, on saying these final ominous words, both brothers would then place their right fist into the palm of their left hand, suddenly covered in their own lightning, as their power levels would suddenly spike. Their torsos trembling, as if their very own bodies could not contain their own power
No.
levels.
We whoop their ass easy.
Until Divine Combination! As suddenly each would scream out one part of a joined phrase, and as if by force, their two bodies would then light up in cyan energy and move instantly closer together, as both bodies would also then become covered in a sphere of energy. Something familiar to the Dragon Ball series is happening, but in a totally new way, unique to the Royal Guards, it seems. And as they would converge, there would be an instant reaction from Seraphim Goku and Vegeta, covering themselves from the backlash of the technique, while Vegito would just stare in confusion, never having anticipated any of this. and as the bright aura of Z and S's combination continues to grow and grow, the sheer light itself would cause everything to begin being lost in the brightness, including the now damaged and worse for wear Omni Mushroom on which the entire battle is taking place. And from the light, unbelievably, our worst fears would be proven true, as Z and S would fuse together to create an entirely new, divine and regal entity. All together, as the tall and more muscular figure would now not only bear two seraphim eyes, but also the same cyan upside down triangle on his forehead as Dai too, along with dual angel wings, with his powerful body now flowing with energy as smoke and lightning coils around his body, only for him to let out, "The royal guards are no more. Z and S will be left to be ordained in the passage of time. For now, a royal commander has finally arrived. A master of Lord Dai's teachings. My name is GT. GT? Wow, that's my god! Of course, sending the young-looking Zeno into a frenzy, as he looks on in amazement for the first time at his new royal commander, the fusion of his two guards he had spent so long with until now, commenting, "When did I make him? He's almost as cool as Vegito!" And for once, joining with his lord, Dai would have a similar feeling of joy, looking at what were once his two students perform a technique it seems he had prepared them for all their lives. As with a big grin, he would call out, "Z, S, so you have finally unleashed your full potential. GT, you say? Well, I welcome you. It seems your training has gone further than ever anticipated. You've reached the second level of Seraphim too. Bravo. Now show that counterfeit copy what the power of my teachings truly is." Second level? But for Goku, not only would the fusion of the two guards be a complete shock, but also the revelation that they too are now using the same level above Seraphim that the priest is in, as he mutters with his eyes wide open, "GT? You've got to be kidding me! I could barely just about imagine beating them before, but now their power level is way too high. They feel just as strong as Dai. I don't know if I'll be able to help you anytime soon, Vegito." Of course. But Vegito would maintain his smile, still having confidence in the situation, as he says to Goku,
"You do look strong.
One wing and one Seraphim eye each? It was obvious they'd fuse eventually, Kakarot. But do not fear, for you still have it in you to win. I know there's still another level for you to go to. Push hard and finish them, fusion or not. Don't worry about me. Vegeta is still here." "At least one of us can finish the job, Kakarot." As a thoroughly smug-faced Vegeta enjoying for once having done better than Goku, would say with a big grin, "Seems you're a little slow, Kakarot. I see you tried to take them out in one attack like me. But unfortunately, low-class Saiyans never quite could keep up with the elites.
Boy.
Guess you're just as disappointing as that other cack." But mid-cocky monologue, the true demon of destruction would be completely interrupted by another explosion of power in the far distance, immediately shocking all three Saiyans to the core, as they each cannot believe the amount of energy surfacing, but also the familiarity of it, as Seraphim Goku would mutter, Is that me?" As a pure cylindrical stream of energy would then be seen rocketing into the sky, as within its divine-looking purple energy, the silhouette of a lone warrior would be seen inside, as the earth and ground around it would break up and even begin to erase. And through the aura, a god of destruction would rise, one that was previously counted out, his bulked up body elevating and straightening slowly and with conviction, as the Hakaishin symbols on his chest would begin to glow wildly in tone. The controlled grumble would soon enough then descend into a raging roar, as the Saiyan Destroyer would begin to then lose his pupils Broly style, and his dark purple hair would not only grow out wildly, but also begin to shift in color. And now screaming out the prince's name as if he has a specific prey, the enraged Berserker Saiyan would unleash his full-grown hair as he screams into the sky with a vicious roar. As now, the ultimate version of Destroyer Goku would finally then emerge, and in no ordinary form, as his hair, now a blood red in color and draped down to his backside, this timeline's Destroyer Goku had finally unlocked the true Super Saiyan God form. And without killing 5 other Saiyans, but rather by just witnessing their cold-blooded murder at the hands of Cell. And not only that, but seemingly combined with an all-new level of Hakaishin form, as the symbols on his body grow larger in size and take on an all-new formation, as with purple lightning shooting all over, Goku would finally say, "Strike me from behind, huh? Maybe you're not the Vegeta I knew after all." He would never have so little pride to do something so cowardly. Come now, and try that again, God Killer. Until once we zoom in on his eyes, we would also notice something else. The existence of 2 purple seraphim eyes, along with another symbol different from Dai's and GT's on his forehead. The Destroyer would continue looking to the others and say, "And when I'm done taking care of this fake excuse for a Vegeta, I'm getting rid of the monster pretending to be me too. You're all going down if it's the last thing I do."
shit.
Fake Vegeta? Why you?
That's right, the nerve.
Leaving the prince furious, as a part of him is slightly taken aback by the confidence and power exuding from his past timeline foe, but also angered by the insolence as he replies, "New form or not, don't forget you're just another Kakarot. You do not talk to me like that, clown. What is that even in your eyes, Seraphim? Why the hell were they the wrong color?" That should be fairly obvious, Saiyan. As the Grand Priest, continuing his smile, would then spell out to all, "Well, his Seraphim eyes, albeit different, can be explained easily. He is my student, at least from an alternate timeline. It seems after you animals ventured through time, destroying his future and his entire world, he eventually found tutelage under not only Beerus, but then ascended to be trained by the past version of me. Driven by revenge just like you, it seems he managed to do pretty well. I'd say just as well as your timeline son, Goku." As behind the priest, we would then see a clear flashback to this supposed training with the Dai Shinkan himself. Oh, for Zeno's sake! But this whole situation would now become comedic to Ultra Vegito, who now realizes his earlier words and plan are completely dead in the water. As with his arms up in pure mental defeat, with a sweat drop down his face, Vegito would grumble, "Well, that's that then. It can never just be easy, can it? Looks like I won't have any backup after all. Dai's head is all mine. Thanks a bunch, Arj." But despite the dire situation, the prince's smile would return as he cracks his knuckles together and just says ominously, "It's nothing to worry about. If I'm honest, I was disappointed I didn't really get to beat down Kakarot more than I wished to. Seraphim or not, I'll be done with this quick.
Oh shit.
You just focus on not dying again, alright?" After, as if Vegeta's final word was a trigger, both Goku and Vegeta would then eagerly vanish from Vegito's side, leaving the God Killer understandably surprised and now all alone for his final confrontation with the Grand Priest. And just like that, Seraphim Goku would appear to face his opponent GT, saying, "I guess you did have one more trick up your sleeve after all. That's fine, because I have one
Talk
too."
your shit.
And Vegeta, staring at his destroyer Goku, would let out himself, "Let's get this over with, clown. I'll make you regret talking to me like that earlier." And so, without not a moment more to spare, the two Saiyans would rush without hesitation to their all-new challenge. And one, at this point, it's not clear at all who they will even be able to come away victorious from. And on Goku's first attack against GT, the Seraphim Saiyan would try to chop with an open palm. But with a rock-solid fist, the Royal Commander would block instantaneously. What? He barely budged. leaving Goku puzzled from not only the speed of the reaction, but also the lack of feedback from his strike. As looking back at him, with their far more emotionless and unbothered countenance, the fusion would just remark, "I've made this too easy for myself now, haven't I, Saiyan? Or did you use up a little too much of your energy with that second smile? Give up and die!" As quickly switching his mannerism, GT would then follow up, swiftly chasing with an attack of his own. His arm cocked back until... "You may be stronger, but I'm still faster!" As just as when his arm would swipe, Goku would jump back out of harm's way. Before then flexing his wings out to stop him dead in the air in the distance, to the surprise of GT, who wonders what the Saiyan even has in store next. And just like a rocket, as if his wings were some kind of slingshot, Goku would then proceed to fire down at speed. Rapidly increasing his velocity to the point it becomes a blur until... With a gigantic crash on the ground, Goku would appear to have smashed face first for a destructive finish, albeit with GT visibly having escaped its trajectory. And indeed, when we zoom in on the ground, once the dust settles, GT would be nowhere to be seen, but Goku would be, on his feet too. Slowly then raising his head, smiling as he would comment, "Okay, maybe you're a little faster than I thought, but it looks like you're still afraid of what I can do even now. Right, GT?" And looking down slightly more flustered than previously, it would seem Goku's comment would begin to get to the fused commander, as he would mumble, "Even in the face of certain death, these mortals still talk like this. How despicable."
You're despicable.
As reaching deeper into his pocket, GT would then finally welcome the competence of Goku and power up even further, before not only getting into fighting stance, but looking down with a smile saying, "Whatever. This new body of ours needs some testing. So it is a blessing in disguise. You are so deluded. Come, mortal, let us entertain Lord Zeno."
They going at it.
To which a smiling Goku would reply, "Zen-chan must really not like you, if watching you die is considered entertainment. Bring it on!" And when the battle would recommence, Goku would be first in launching a barrage of punches from his right arm, but all would be caught and parried until... With a swift stamp, GT would smack the winged Saiyan down with force, causing Goku to land flush on his back. How about this? But not before Goku, mid-impact, would then place his two fingers on his forehead, ready for instantaneous transmission. But even the speed of literal instant transmission would be nothing at this point to the speed of GT, who would mid-vanishing appear to strike the downed Goku hard in his gut, his fist almost lost in there with how far he penetrates.
Pause.
Just commenting, no. Watching you die is considered entertainment, Son Goku. Leading to the severely damaged Saiyan to spit out globules of blood as his seraphim eyes momentarily disappear as he partially loses consciousness. But on the other side of the battlefield, Goku would not be the only one in turmoil, as Vegeta too would be in the middle of a battle with his own Goku. And it seems
Vegito,
their
they're struggling.
battle would not be going too differently. As already exhausted, huffing and puffing as blood leaks from his mouth, wiping his chin, Vegeta would say, "Damn you, Kakarot! Now you feel like the real deal. You always have to have the damn last laugh. But I'm not done yet."
Oh, shit.
Before removing his hand and yelling in defiance, "Do your worst! You say I'm no Saiyan, no Vegeta, and that you want my head. Show me how much of a cold-blooded killer you truly are then. Show me your full power!" And just like GT before him, Destroyer Goku would not be impressed with the comments, just letting out with his darkened face, "I'm not the Goku you think I am. I've been through things that have changed me. I remember the Goku you know, and I am not here." Before, as if summoning purple lightning within the palm of his hands, an all-new technique would be
fuck is
given
that?
birth to until... Destructive Thunder!
Damn.
As now increasing the thickness and raw power, Destroyer Goku's attack would evolve into one that makes a screeching noise like 1,000 birds chirping, as visibly each and every slight slither of electricity seems to be infused with Hakai energy itself. The power of destruction mixed with the speed of lightning. What the hell is that?
What the hell is
Leaving
LeBron James?
Vegeta just as puzzled as us all at the new move, as he begins to realize that energy, it's pure destruction, but it's concentrating more and more. What is he planning with that? And shockingly before long, the violent purple thunder would
Vegeta,
come
get
to
out the way.
encircle and encompass Goku's entire body, but not affecting him at all, despite the Hakai infusion. Kakarot! And noticing the mass of energy in the sky continuing to skyrocket in power towards an uncontrollable state, even Vegeta would begin panicking from confusion, muttering, "The fool! Isn't that just going to erase him? What are you doing? You'll kill us all at this rate!" "Fine! If you want to die, then allow me to help! But I'm not going down with you!" As now unwilling to wait around to find out, Vegeta would then place his own hands together, ready to do his iconic Gallic gun before something bright would instantly catch the true demon by surprise. And right behind him, as the light would prove so bright that a shadow would cast in front of him, and as his face would turn around in almost slow motion, he would question, "Now what? Kakarot!" As in a blink of an eye, that flash of light would reveal himself to be Destroyer Goku himself. Now, a pure entity of bright energy surrounding now not only himself, but also Vegeta. And with a divine cold face, as somehow his luminescence would continue to increase, the changed Goku would just let out ominously, "Goodbye, Vegeta. Lightning only strikes once." Kakarot! And with one final scream, it seemed the entire screen would shift to a bright pink until, in one gigantic explosion, it would seem Goku himself would self-destruct in a gigantic ball of destruction, while simultaneously taking the prince with him, eventually leaving nothing but dust and trails of smoke behind, as it becomes unclear if there even were any survivors. Damn you! Until, of course, we would shockingly see that Vegeta had just about survived. His body completely damaged now, trembling from even attempting to stand up, as he would let out with what energy he has left. That was just like my final explosion against Boo, but 1,000 times worse. Where the hell did Kakarot learn something like that? I'm guessing the fool did it in vain. You die, I win, Kakarot. I'm not so sure, Vegeta. As unfortunately, unlike Vegeta's final explosion, behind Vegeta, the Destroyer's foot would step forward once again. And this one would seem far less flustered and damaged than Vegeta. But as all of this would be going down between the four warriors, true Demon Vegito would be watching on, as seemingly the tables have turned on both of his team members now. Oh no! Leaving a bemused look on the God Killer, who would think to himself, "If things don't turn around soon, I'm going to have to deal with those two as well. Come on, what are you clowns doing?" But behind, the Grand Priest would be taking on Vegito's signature laughter, thoroughly amused, as he would say, "It's strange. I never quite understood why Lord Zeno found your escapades so entertaining. But I must say, watching you all fail in the end is endlessly satisfying. But gluttony too is a sin, and I have had my fill." Before immediately changing back to his serious look as the cyan symbol on his forehead glowed with it, and he prepares himself to now join in the beatdown of the three Saiyans. "You've gotten mouthy in these few decades, priest." As Vegito, now getting annoyed himself, but still not feeling the end is quite here, would tense his body and respond, "You say you're done watching, but you fail to realize you're also part of the show." As suddenly from behind, a second Vegito would instantly appear mid-flight with a smile, ready to kick the unsuspecting priest. Water! And at that distance and speed, the priest would actually be forced to block, and struggle too at that, as his whole body flinches inwards, his left eye automatically closes from the force of the impact. And on his face, the grimace of an angry god would be all too visible, as struggling to hold the kickback, it would seem, the transformed father of all angels, with veins popping, would say, "It seems with this transformation, you have surpassed what Lucifer was able to bring out of you. But don't think this will be enough, God Killer!" But on the other side, the original Vegito would still remain, smirking as he would say, "And here I thought gluttony was a sin. If you wanted more of where that came from, you just had to ask." As from in front, while the priest would continue struggling against the God Killer's kick, he would now face a powerful energy beam from the same foe up in front. But the Seraphim abilities would soon come into play, as instantly dodging and leaving behind an after image, Dai would escape just in time to allow the Vegito clone to be struck in his place instead, skidding across the ground elegantly to a stop before... "This show ends now, whether you like it or not.
Okay.
You are no Lucifer, and you are no threat." Instantly shooting forward at the Vegito in front, now without any hesitation, completely dismissing the abilities of Vegito on his own, no matter what form he's in. But Vegito, just powering up his ki, standing firm, would only reply, "No, Dai, I am not Lucifer. But you will soon learn why. It is me who has him locked away, and not the other way around." And just like that, the two would collide, interlocking fingers with each other, as despite Vegito standing his ground, he'd still be pushed back heavily as the God Killer grumbles, "You're pretty strong for a little guy, aren't you? But being so little just means you don't weigh much either." Yeah! As
funny.
in response, Vegito would then just reverse Dai's own strength, tossing the god straight into the sky. As in an uncommon sight from the God Killer, Vegito would then take a page out of his own son's book and blow out of his mouth 3 ghostly white apparitions of himself, each giggling with a childish mannerism. And with their high-pitched voices, 2 would suddenly then launch with the same speed as Vegito straight towards the priest. What the devil is this? Temporarily surprising the divine father of angels, who had never observed anything of the such before. But as Dai would activate his seraphim eyes once more, the 2 ghouls would foolishly just pass through and explode behind, as the priest, looking back, would say briefly, "So, they are used simply as kamikazes." Nice trick. Now do the same for this one! As with the final white ghost readying itself to shoot forward also, interestingly, its tail would wrap around the arm of Ultra Vegito, whose hand would also simultaneously unleash the Godslayer Blade 2. As in a truly fascinating combination of attacks, with even more speed than before, the mini ghost would fire off viciously towards Dai. But not before from behind, Vegito himself would pierce through his Godslayer blade to come through out of the throat of the apparition. Enough! But having experienced enough surprise techniques by now, Dai would opt instead to get rid of the attacks altogether, placing his hands together once more and glowing his eyes and forehead in the process before Divine Smite! Surrounding himself in a 3D cyan triangle of energy, the ghostly Vegito would be instantly erased before everyone's eyes, and Vegito's Godslayer Blade 2 would be no exception, being frozen on the spot as the tip would continue to erase the more it got closer to the priest. Eventually confusing Vegito, as soon his entire blade would be removed, with him commenting, "You can smite energy attacks too? Where the hell is my energy sword? Here!" But his questions would soon be answered by a stabbing of his own, as using just what seems like his open palm, Dai would appear to stab the God Killer lethally straight through the chest. And as the profusely leaking blood Saiyan would then slowly descend to the ground, the callous Dai would look down and say, "This should keep you down for a little while. Just enough to allow you to watch as I now dispatch of those two other worms. You may be able to recover fast from attacks from weaklings, but you will not from the attacks of the Daishinkan." My body, it's not healing. And even Vegito would soon realize this, as his body would continue to fall with no Boo abilities activating to seal up the wound, until slamming torso first onto the ground, he would think, "That was no ordinary attack. He did something like a poison. I have to get up. I have to get up, you damn God Killer!" As interrupting his thoughts with rage, Yomoshi, unwilling to see the last of his race lose like this, would scream out furiously to Vegito, instantly awakening his eyes. And it seems, with just that one push from the legendary first Super Saiyan God, Vegito would then be able to struggle his body back up. Surprising Dai, who would slowly turn around thinking internally, "This creature, angel paralysis on mortals, lasts at least an hour. It hasn't even been a few seconds. What is the meaning of this?" Angel paralysis? Sorry, but I'll sleep when I'm dead if you don't mind. As now back on his feet and leaking energy all over as his power level rises, the God Killer would form within his clawed hands, with a grin, a dark demonic ball of energy that is meant for only one target. as with his wound healing fast, visually with Boo's goo now, Vegito would say, "You need to remember, little man, you may know how your attacks function on mortals, but within me resides more gods than you can count. You aren't done with me until I say so." The gods he absorbed allowed him to recover? How ridiculous! Bemusing die before the priest would jump back to get his own distance and then... So be it then! The demon realm should be enough torture anyway. As now giving up on his hopes of slaughtering Goku and Vegeta before the eyes of Vegito, Dai's energy would also rise as divine energy leaks from him. And his palm, conversely, creates another ball of energy.
Yeah.
Die! Vegito! And with that, a fated collision finally between the real God Killer and the Grand Priest would take place. And with a roar expected of two of the strongest beings to ever exist in any multiverse, manga, fan manga, or anything in history,
Talk
a
your
simply
shit, CallMeARJ.
ginormous explosion of indescribable proportions would result with both warriors being lost in the light. But no doubt, ready to straight away continue battling till the end. But elsewhere, somewhere completely unfamiliar in fact, within a regal building among perfectly shaped mountains, a mysterious woman shrouded in darkness would be seen sitting among a throne, letting out softly, "Not often I see you return, my dear student. To what do I owe the pleasure, little one?" And through the doors in front of her, a mystery figure would walk in. Revealed shockingly to be none other than Hit, the legendary assassin of Universe 6, as he would then say, "Lady Cronoa, I have finished my training mastering the time ring I reacquired, but I have a request." Before zooming in on the warrior's cold face, with which he would finish, "I need another one." But
My nigga Hit pulled up, nigga. It's getting heated like a motherfucker. Everybody versing. Everybody, I like it, man. Shout out to CallMeARJ for the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Check out the last chapter right here. Check out another video right here. And I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.